What's up, everybody? This is Pauly from All Docked Up. And here at All Docked Up, we provide every boater, novice to well-seasoned, an easy-to-use mobile platform that connects them with quality marine service providers, all while saving them time and money. And today, we have Captain Buzz with us again to talk with us today.
Hey, Pauly. Good afternoon, everyone. All Docked Up helps boaters understand and connects them with service providers they need who can perform these services, how much they'll cost to keep their boats maintained, safe, and looking great.
Awesome, Buzz.
So the topic, hey, dude, we got a lasagna in the oven.
We got lasagna. It's a Sunday afternoon. Beautiful.
It's gorgeous outside. We want to talk to you today about the right of way on the open water. And it surprises me. It really surprises me. And I'll use an example. Paul, I'm going to put you on the spot on this.
Put me on the spot.
An example of when the right of way isn't properly understood. And what surprises me again is that there's a lot of boaters out there who don't take the time to understand the rules of the road. There's a couple really simple things that would make it a much better experience and safer for everyone on board their vessel.
Because I'll tell you what, for the first summer, I actually kept my boat out of the water. I spent a lot of time, Buzzy, with you on board your vessel, and it's rampant. We see it day in and day out. We go out on the water and we just see people that truly don't have an understanding of what's going on. And I'll tell you what, it's scary at times. And what I love about what we do here at All Docked Up, we are, giving people the information that they need, but we're delivering it in a fun way. We're pulling this information from the Coast Guard. We're going to share it with everybody, but you see it in and out. People, even when you come down your boat, you load up the boat for the weekend, you're having a cocktail, and you see what's going on. And I'll tell you what, it makes me nervous sometimes, and I think today's topic is going to be great because we got to share the love and give them that information so we can all feel safer out there together. Our friends and loved ones are on board. So, go for it, Buzz. Talk to me here.
You're right. As a captain of your vessel, you're responsible for the souls on board. And you need to understand a few basic rules. And again, few basic rules. And I recommend that folks, if they're whatever state they reside in, if there's a safety boating course, that they take it before they get out onto the water. Too many boaters just think, okay, I'm going to go out there and I'll figure it out. But that can be dangerous at times. I remember a time, and so I'll use myself as an example because I thought I was cool. I didn't take the safe boating course. Now I'm a licensed captain, so I know I've learned a tremendous amount, but I was coming out of Bow Bay, and there was a boat about equal size to mine, and he was at my 8 o'clock, right? If you can picture that. But to my 2 o'clock, which he couldn't see
on your starboard,
that's right, was a small boat, a couple of guys fishing in a Boston whaler, right? And I'm running a 30-foot cabin cruiser, I'm playing, and I'm throwing a pretty good wake. Well. But he couldn't see, and what happened was, and there's also no water over there. You had mentioned that he was riding close to your stern. Correct me if I'm wrong. Well, there was a boat on my port side, but there was also a buddy on his boat right behind me,
and he was too close.
In my opinion, he was way too close to your stern. Way too close, and we were both on plane, and we're motoring out of Bohemia River. I was preparing to ultimately make my turn east up into the Back Creek and into the C&D Canal. But so picture this. So I'm on plane, and there's a large boat, the same size as mine. But he begins to start to pinch me. But I've got to steer toward port because again he can't see the fellow
fisherman that's sitting right off your starboard side.
Right, exactly. And I've got a boat on my butt. That so here's the mistake I made, and this is a great example that back then, I just kept going, right? So ultimately, those fishermen,
you were timid.
I was timid, and I didn't understand what I should have done.
Okay,
right. And for all those boaters who run a power boat, coming off plane costs fuel, costs time. You're like, wait a minute, you get your ego up. I'm not coming down. I'm powering through.
Rock and roll.
It's not good.
No, it's not.
Right? It's not
Ego
good.
is a bad spot to have at the helm.
It really isn't. And I learned a great lesson that day, because what I should have done, right, is come off plane. Now, first of all, and I think you mentioned this earlier, I should have gotten on the radio to the guy behind me, my buddy, and said, dude, you're following too close.
What channel do you normally keep your radio on, Captain, when you are navigating through the Chesapeake Bay?
That's a great question, Paulie. I monitor several stations at a time.
Absolutely.
So 13 is required when you're in the C&D canal, and it should be monitored whenever you're using the shipping channel. It's channel 13. That's for bridges. That's for commercial traffic. You should monitor always. 16, obviously, that's the hailing channel.
For the United States Coast Guard.
Correct. And 9 and 68, those are the channels I monitor. And again, folks can, they may need to look at their manuals, but they can
ship to ship on channel 6-8, if my memory serves me correctly.
That's exactly right.
Awesome. Because I know that's what we always use when me and you travel. We always, standing by on 6-8.
Standing by on 6-8. Good point. So what I should have done is got on the radio, and I should have my passenger, wave off the back of my boat that I'm coming off plane.
Get his attention, get the other boater's attention.
That's what I should have done. And so if I fast forward a number of years, well, almost a decade, so I'm coming down I'm in the shipping channel, and I'm heading south. I've got Turkey Point off my starboard, and I've got and this is just this past season, I've got a pontoon boat. He's approaching from my port side, and we're essentially on a collision course. And you folks, you can understand that you're on a collision course even through your binoculars when you see that the distance is not changing and course is not changing.
Okay.
Right? And so I'm in the shipping channel, which doesn't have anything to do with right of way, except for, well, we'll get to that in a moment, ships that can't steer out because of their draft. And so this pontoon boat is coming again across, and I'm going to guess that he's going to try and round Turkey Point and go up the Northeast River. Okay, either way, but he's coming across, and I get to the point, and here's where things have changed for me as a captain. I'm watching this situation unfold, and then I realize that this gentleman doesn't understand that I have the right of way.
Because he's coming in on your starboard side.
No, he's coming
I apologize. He's coming in on your port side.
On my port side. And it's getting closer and closer. I said, okay, it gets to the point, and you're responsible as a captain, that I needed to come off. I stopped. I came off plane.
Safest maneuver that you can do at that particular moment in time.
I'm in the channel, which doesn't necessarily mean anything. I have the right of way, but this gentleman doesn't understand that I do. And whether he thought he had enough speed to get in front of me without impeding my path really didn't matter.
So he could have overtaken you.
No, well, I don't know that he had the speed to do that, because it wasn't an overtaking situation. He was coming across from the port side across my bow.
Okay.
Right. And it should have been, he should have yielded and turned to starboard and gone around the back of the stern of our boat. Right. And he didn't, and he wasn't. And so, that's where, and this is an important point for all boaters, and new boaters and old boaters alike, or veteran boaters, is to understand and forget about ego, forget about how much fuel you're going to use by, how you're going to spill your beverages when you take your boat quickly off plane, right? That was the right move. And so that's exactly what I did. I signaled to my passengers, I'm coming off plane. I pulled the throttles back, set her down. This guy came right across my bow, but that was the right thing for me as a captain to do at that point, because I knew he didn't know what was right.
It has been difficult. Like, we've done so much traveling together, pulling out of Chesapeake City, heading towards St. Michael's, going down into the Inner Harbor. And with all the time that we have underneath our belt, I love the fact that when we have those conversations back and forth, and I make a comment, and I may not be 100% right, and you dial me right back in. It's like, Paulie, and I love you for it, and because I want to learn. I wanted to make sure that I'm as educated as possible when I'm out there on the water for the safety of myself and my crew, but along with everybody else that's trying to enjoy their day.
So, Paul, I'm going to make an example of you because
was I a bad boy?
Well, you were.
Was I a bad boy? Because that does happen.
But here's the thing: you've put a lot of hours on your vessel.
Yes, sir, I have.
You've run your boat. You know how to operate your vessel. You're an expert boater. Your tier is way up above a novice, right? You've been running your boat a long, long time, and you understand things. But I know you remember this.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Everyone's going to hear the truth.
So you and I were helping a friend deliver a boat. We were coming out of Portland, Maine, and taking the boat to the down to Chesapeake City. Actually, all the way to Bow Bay. And
I'll never forget that run.
And it was a trawler. So, and it was in the winter. Well, it's just the very, very end of the winter. Right, it snowed on us that first day. Remember that?
Oh yeah, that was a load of fun when the seacock to actually open up was busted, and we weren't able to turn the heat on board. That the systems that are proprietary, the Marine Air.
That was a cold ride. It was 600 miles at 10 miles an hour, but that's our problem. We had a great time doing it. But I'm gonna use you as an example.
That's okay,
right?
If we can help somebody buy it, go for the gold.
Well, there you go. That's why you're my man. Pots and Pans.
Pots and Pans is in the house.
So we're on Long Island Sound. We had come out of the Connecticut River. Our destination was Liberty Landing. A spectacular marina. I hope everybody gets a chance to experience it. And so we're heading west on the Long Island Sound, and it is a mill pond. It is absolutely, we're making great time. It's absolutely gorgeous. Not a cloud.
Yeah, the conditions were perfect that day. It was absolutely a picture perfect day of boating.
Perfect. So I'm on the bridge, and you came up from the salon, and the owner of the boat was up there, and I said, look, I got to go down and take care of something. And so I go down to the salon, and I'm doing a couple of things, and all of a sudden I hear the horn, right? The whistle on the boat. Boop, boop. And somebody's, you guys are up there.
I was doing that. I was definitely sounding to another boater.
You were blowing the horn?
I was upset. Yes, I was not a very happy man with the move that he made. Come to find out.
Well, and so we had two-way radios on board. So little right? Those are great.
Yeah, because I was in the galley cooking for three guys for 10 straight days. Yes. Like, I'll tell you what, guys, I'm a professional chef by trade. My family's been in the restaurant.
Paulie can cook.
I cooked my ass off that freaking 10 days. Oh my God.
But anyway, I was down, and I hear that. I said, what is going on up there? So I get on the little radio, and I go, salon, galley calling bridge.
You did start to drive me bananas by the end of the week with that. That was son of a bitch.
So and Paulie goes, well, this guy was, he's crossing our path. And I said, well, which direction is he coming from? Well, he's coming from our starboard. I said, dude.
I was wrong.
He's got the right of way.
He's got the right of way. He was going to cross our bow, coming in on the starboard side, and it's completely legal and legit. And I was wrong.
That's where. And so I know. See, the thing is now, you're never going to forget that.
No. Especially after the podcast. And nobody ever else is going to either.
If somebody comes across you from the starboard side, that means you got to throttle back.
You got to pull back. You have to give them the right of way.
And it doesn't matter if you think you're in the channel, if you think it's not, they're coming across. And here's the thing. So think about this, boaters, right? So if it was at night, what does that boater who's coming across your starboard side see? They see the green light.
That's it.
Green light means go, right? If they're coming from your port side, they're going to see a red light. That means they have to stop.
They have to stop.
Right? So what we're talking about as far as rules of the road in broad daylight is think about the nav lights on your vessel to help you understand, okay, wait, he sees he sees the green light. That means I have to slow down.
Mm-hmm.
Or if he's coming from your port, they see the red light.
He's got to stop.
He's got to slow down. But as my previous example stated, sometimes boaters don't know the rules. And we're hoping that this podcast touches as many boaters as possible to understand that.
Yeah, because I'll tell you what, no matter how we slice and dice at boaters, right? Like we're out there, we're spending our time, we have our family on board, we're doing what we got to do. You're covered in sunscreen, and you just want to fulfill. If you're on Captain, Buzz's boat, sunscreen is going out and around. He's taking care of everybody. Thank God, bless his wife. And I'll tell you what. We want to have fun, but we got to do it by being responsible at the same time, and that's what I love, that we have the opportunity to give this information to boaters and make it fun and exciting in a fun way, because what are we trying to do? We're trying to enjoy ourselves, keep the blood pressure down from the entire week. The boss is driving you crazy. And for you entrepreneurs like myself, self-employed individuals, you want to get to your boat, have a cocktail, but boaters, we got to know what we're doing out there. And if we don't, we're just putting ourselves at jeopardy. It causes a lot of problems. People can get hurt, and that is the last thing that we're looking forward to on a great, beautiful weather boating weekend.
When there's lack of understanding, it creates indecision. It's no different. Well, let me put it a different way. When you're in a car, right, and you come to a four-way stop sign, everybody arrives at the same time. You know that the guy on the right is the first guy to go. Or if you're coming into a traffic situation, you know who is to yield and who isn't. It's all second nature because everybody knows how to drive.
Right.
You got your license. Boating, there are rules of the road, but it's not required that you learn them or you know them. But we're telling you that it makes boating a much better experience if, in fact, you do know these rules. And
absolutely.
That difficult to understand. Basic rules. Look, I'm a captain, so I've gone to the extreme, and I know
what captain's license do you hold, Buzz?
I have an OUPV, so it's an operator of an uninspected passenger vessel, which means that. So the majority of your small charter boat fishing captains have this. They can have as many as 6 paying customers on their vessel.
6 paying customers on their vessel, and you're in chartered waters that are designated by the United States Coast Guard.
Well, all water is designated as other than a small lake, everything's designated.
Is there a restriction on how far you can go offshore with that license?
Well, my particular captain's license is inland, so I know what happens in the Chesapeake Bay. I need more hours offshore to upgrade my license,
and we're going to fix that this year,
absolutely.
My friend.
And I intend to get my master's license, which gives me permission or the ability to run a vessel that is inspected by the Coast Guard,
absolutely,
and would have many more paying customers than
you're allowed to have more people on board. You got the skill set. You took all the classes.
Correct.
You've got all the hours underneath your belt.
That's right.
And that's awesome. And I'll tell you what, I can't wait to actually obtain my license and do the exact same thing.
Getting a captain's license, because it's not only the classroom time and actually getting the certificate. There's a lot more hoops you need to jump through, and we're going to cover that on another podcast.
Absolutely.
But what I recommend for our everyday boater or our it is to at least, and Maryland is a great example. They have a safe boating course.
Okay.
I want to say it's $30 or so to register online. It's all online. It takes about 5 hours. But folks, you will learn so much about safety and navigation and the things we're talking about. I guarantee it'll make a better boating experience for you and, more importantly, the souls you have on board.
Absolutely. I mean, let's face it. I mean, some people, I know it's tough. I like I said, I think if we deliver this information to our listeners, and once we're going to bring professionals on board, we're going to be interactive with our listeners. I'm just excited. I'm just so excited we can deliver this information to them.
I am too.
There's a way to have fun with doing this. It doesn't have to be, banging your head against the wall.
We got lasagna in the oven.
You got a lasagna in the oven. We got a cocktail in front, and we're here recording on a Sunday afternoon. For all of our boaters, anything that we can do to help, I love it, Buzz.
So there's a couple more things when it comes to the right of way, and I encourage everyone to do more research. But a sailboat, for example, if you're a power boat and a sailboat is under sail, well, they have the right of way, right? If they're under sail, they can't maneuver as well as a power boat can. So you have to. It doesn't have anything to do with port and starboard where they're approaching.
No, they're under sail power. They automatically have the right of way as a sailboat.
You have to yield to them. There are also if there's a ship in the channel. Another good example. Now a ship in the channel can't maneuver out of the channel because of their draft. They're restricted by how much water they need under their boat.
Yeah, those size vessels do not have very good maneuverability.
So it
takes a while for them to stop.
And there's a ton more. There's a pecking order of who has the right of way. But for power boaters to sailboats, which is 90% of what you're going to experience in the Chesapeake Bay or even beyond that, it's pretty simple. So I encourage you folks to, whatever state you reside in, is to take the safe boating course and get a little bit more understanding about who has the right of way and which direction they're coming, whether they're power or sail or a ship. Again, it makes your boating experience a lot better. And for your passengers.
And for because you want to make sure that your passengers feel, they want to be at ease. They want to enjoy themselves and catch a good sun and, so forth. And, I'll tell you what, that's great. But Cap, one thing I want to talk about is radar. And this has kind of been fascinating me. And I know every time I come into Chesapeake City, we get her all cleaned up and everybody to let you know, I'm a professional detailer by trade. I have thousands of boats underneath these arms that I have polished and cleaned. And the one thing that I love about, absolutely. Well, the one thing I love about Captain Buzz is that he is just as anal as I am.
Wait. We remember the time. So here's the thing. Pauly called me. He called me like 9 o'clock in the morning because he goes, look, I've got a customer. Can you go down and wash their boat? I was like, what do you mean?
The scheduling conflict with yes, so with the 42 that was over at Bow Bay.
Yeah, the Sabre, beautiful
yacht, Sabre yacht, beautiful.
But it's under a slip cover. It's covered with spider shit. It's covered. Anyway, Paul says, "Hey, Captain Buzz, can you run down there and wash this boat for me? Because I'm out of state and they're getting ready to go for a weekend." And I said, "Of course." I load my cart, I load my truck.
You were good to go. You were good to go. But guys, I've detailed more boats than I can imagine. Every make and model underneath the sun. And I'll tell you what, Buzz. Here's a question that I have. It's been weighing on me for a while. Every time we're pulling your boat off of the dock, and we're leaving Chesapeake City, I always see your radar on. Picture perfect day, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 9 o'clock in the morning, whatever. You got that radar fired up and on. And I always wanted to know why.
Well, it's a good, Paulie, it's a good question. And I often get like, what is that guy doing? Again, it's a beautiful, perfect picture, perfect day. Clear.
Why has he got his radar on?
Why has he got his radar on? Well, I'm happy to tell you why.
Because I don't know why I haven't. I don't know why I haven't asked you before, but I'm like, why is he got this damn thing on? Like, am I missing something? Like, talk to me here, Cap.
So, yes, I've got a Ray Marine open array, separate screen on my Sea Ray. It's a wonderful piece of equipment, and so I'll tell you the reason why. and the reason why who told me to do it. So first of all, I every year I had, other than COVID, unfortunately didn't happen this past year, but I have my vessel inspected by the Coast Guard Auxiliary,
which me and you have done for years.
And I'll tell you what,
it's the greatest stamp I love putting on the boat.
Every time they come on board, I learn something. Captain or not, I learned something. These folks are,
it's the name of the game, right?
Talk about passion, right? These are volunteers that come onto your vessel and inspect you. And I'll tell you what, I'm very, very impressed. And I hope to do, and we will. I mean, I hope we will do a podcast with the gentleman who inspected
from the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary.
Yeah, because boy, talk about learning and being safe on the water.
What did he teach you? What did he tell you? I'm curious.
Oh my God! Here. Okay, so everybody's got enough flotation devices on their boat. We're going to assume, and so Paul, you've been on my boat. You know that I've got a big, West Marine yellow square of like 4 PFDs.
It's a portable suitcase. It looks like
in the ass. It's in the way all the time. And so the gentleman who does our inspection, he goes, he says if something happens and the boat starts to go down, just take that thing and throw it overboard. And I went, what do you mean? He goes, well, you're going to have your life jacket on, right? And you're going to send your distress signal, and you're going to do this, but just take that thing. It's an enormous flotation. It's bright yellow. People can see it. Throw it under the water and hang on to it. I went, holy shit! What a great idea that is, right?
Because that could be a very busy moment if something goes wrong on board, and you have to abandon ship.
The other thing he told me, because he looked at the fire extinguishers I had on board. And he said, you may want to contact the company because I think those have been recalled. And
that's sure right. Enough, there was the recall.
I got on the website, put in the manufacturer's ID number, and every one of them had been recalled. And so, anyway, the point is a Coast Guard Auxiliary safety inspector, vessel safety check, is highly recommended because they're going to make your boat safer. And so sorry, we went off on a tangent. We're going to get back to radar for a moment because it was actually the gentleman who inspected my boat for the safety inspection. He said, do you use your radar? And I said, well, in low light situations or low visibility.
No, you have it on all the time.
And he said you should use it all the time. And I said, well, why? Just like you're asking me why. Why do I turn it on? And it's a navigation aid. And it's another ability to have a watch. So you've been on board and I use it as well. I can use it as a rear view mirror if I need to.
Now, explain that. You use it as a rear view mirror. So you're coming out of the C&D canal. You're running and you're paying attention to what's going on off of the bow. You're obviously checking, but you use the radar as a rear view mirror. So explain that.
So I'm running down the canal or I'm running down the channel or I'm in the bay and there's a lot going on, right? It could be, it's a busy boating day and I've got my radar on and I'm focused forward, watching out for traffic and cross traffic. But if I see a return on the radar screen of someone behind me.
Off your stern.
Right. I know that they're either going to overtake me or they're going to ride behind me for a while. Now, I'm certainly going to turn around and give them the visual, but I can look at that radar without taking my eyes off of what's in front of me and see a return. That there's a
I like it. Okay, yeah. Right? You have yourself a digital little, a mirror to look into, a review mirror to look into.
That's exactly because I've gotten a lot of. Dude, why are you running your radar? It's beautiful out.
Yeah, they're breaking your chops.
Yeah, they are. And I don't care. And the other thing about it is, if you are involved, God forbid, in a vessel accident, the Coast Guard or and insurance companies and any law enforcement, whatever, are going to ask you, did you have your radar? Were you using all available tools at your disposal? And I can say, absolutely. I had my radar on. I could see returns from boats all around me. I don't care if it's broad daylight. It's your 360-degree mirror, right? You can't see everything. Your peripheral.
Yeah, your eyes can't be everywhere at one time.
That's right. That's exactly right. So, but I'll tell you that it's important to turn it off when you're approaching the dock, or when somebody jumps on the bow to help.
When Pauly jumps on the bow, starting to sling lines,
turn it off.
Turn it off, because you're not looking to get a free X-ray.
I don't want the gamma rays from the radar getting into your coconut. I mean,
the coconut's already messed up enough. I'll tell you what. Yeah, if you're on the bow, if you're sending your beautiful wife, your husband's on the bow, shut her down, shut the radar down, because no, I could see that.
And I'm fortunate because I have a separate radar screen and a separate GPS navigation screen. A lot of boats have a single head unit
where they're all integrated into one.
Right. But you can overlay the radar picture on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
And you had asked, you had mentioned, what do you set the range at?
Yeah, what mileage range do you have your radar set at when you're running up and down the back?
Well, it all depends on where you are.
Of course.
Right. So if I'm in the Chesapeake Canal, I've got it set to 1/8 of a mile, because I don't need to see what's on land.
Right. You have land on both sides. You're running through the canal.
I get past Turkey Point. I go a little bit further down, and then I'll expand the range out.
Obviously, you're going into a bigger body of water. It's starting to open up.
Correct.
And you're covering all aspects. I've wondered that for the longest time. I said, why? I said, what do we need radar for? Like, what the hell is going on here?
Right, because you think you're going to use it at night or low light, which you absolutely need it for. But during the day, it's another aid to navigation, and it's important that you have it on if you have it on board.
Anytime, and you know me for this. I'm the guy. I'm the skipper who's running on the boat. We're running to St. Michael's, and I'm a redundant guy, right? I got the VHF radio that's proprietary to the boat and the helm. I got a handheld that's within 2 feet away from, within my reach. I got another VHF downstairs. I'm a redundant guy. I'm a safety guy. I'm okay that, I got a 30-foot cruiser, and if I have 12, 13 life jackets on board, I wouldn't be surprised. I like safety equipment. I like to be prepared. My first aid kit looks like it wouldn't even consider to fit a carry-on in an airplane.
Hey, that is a great first
aid. Like that's another thing we got to talk
another podcast.
Yeah, first aid. You got to have good first aid on board. And I like being redundant. I like having multiple systems at use. And what's even great too is people are pulling.
I'll tell you, Pauly, as far as first aid, is the guy you want to have on your vessel. This dude jumps in when something goes wrong, and we've got a lot of stories, and we will share in a future podcast.
Yeah, when Johnny's wife had a heart attack, laying in sunbathing. That was an interesting day. What a story that will be.
When Bob's batteries blew up in his eyes.
When Bob's batteries blew up in his face.
We can go all day on that.
But it's safety, redundancy. It's okay to have a couple extra radios on board. It's okay to have extra life jackets on board, and do your homework. The fire extinguishers you have on board. I like having extras in front. You know me. And I think that's why we love boating together so much, is because when I'm out there with other boaters, we're not communicating. Like, if I'm on board your vessel, you're captain on board, I am a guest. You need to talk to me. Tell me what you want. And with you have no problem saying, Pauly, we're going to do a starboard side tie-up.
That's another great topic for a future podcast, is when you're the captain of your vessel, it's very important to give your passengers responsibilities and ownership.
Make them they're part of the team for the day.
Absolutely.
Because on board, Mother Nature's the boss. Oh, yeah. She's the boss.
Big.
So that communication with the people that you have on board, because I think you need to, and you know me, I'm the guy where, I limit to who's on board my vessel. And I've always been that person where if I have, a novice, if I just have a guest on board that truly doesn't have an understanding of what the hell is going on, I need to know what they can do and what they can't do. I know we don't always think about it because we're going out and dropping a hook for the weekend.
So Paul, you and I are talking about this. I think we're priming the pump for additional conversations, and a captain's briefing is a very important aspect of when you leave the dock.
Absolutely.
Whether you're a licensed captain or not, you've got to understand.
Let's go through the checklist for our next podcast. Let's do the checklist and let's get boaters prepared right when they leave the dock. Let's give you a simple, easy checklist of things to check.
It's a great idea.
Right. Let's just keep feeding them. And I love it. The rear view mirror, philosophy on having radar on a picture perfect day. Because your eyes can't be everywhere at one time, even though you got to do it. You got to be responsible. You got to pay attention to what's...
And you got to know when to turn it off so you don't gamma ray some coconuts. So before we close, I just want to say that I want to thank everyone for the comments we got on our podcast number 1. We had some which was titled, specific rules of navigation in the Chesapeake and Delaware
Canal. And the Sandy Canal.
Got great responses and some great questions. We will certainly address those in a future podcast. It's been our pleasure to talk about boating. Pauly and I can do this all day long. We are passionate. All Docked Up is going to be, or is, a wonderful platform for boaters to connect to service suppliers. We are really excited about bringing more and more content to the folks, to the boating world.
I'm so excited for the engagement. There's nights that I don't sleep when I think about it. I'm like, we're going to have that engagement with the fellow boater that's out there, and I love it that we are creating something that the boater can say, "Boy, how you doing?" They're leaving me a message.
Pots and pans.
My man, pots and pans, and they have a question that we can answer. We can bring them peace of mind. I love it, and that's what boaters do, because I think boaters and land lovers are on two different spectrums.
Well, I don't know if I necessarily agree, because I'm a landlubber, but I love to be out on the boat.
Yeah, but you know what, though? Not for nothing. You look out for your fellow boater. We rely on one another. It's boater etiquette. It's boater code. You look out for other boaters.
If we can touch a good amount of boaters to understand a little bit more about navigation rules and safety, it makes it a better world for all.
You know what we have to look forward to? And I'll tell you what, I think this is a bright side to the COVID-19, pandemic that we have gone through, throughout the whole world. Yeah. How many new boaters, how many new novice boaters we're going to have on the water for the 2021 season. Yeah. And we get the opportunity, novice boaters, to people who just bought boats, come to All Docked Up, come to my platform, and let me showcase our team and what we're able to do. I would love to be that backbone for the novice boater who just purchased a boat, who has no previous experience.
Yeah.
We can guide them along the way. Yeah. And then we see it all the time. How many times have we been out?
We paid our dues.
We paid our dues.
And we can help folks avoid that problem.
Let's go back to the first time me and you met. I'm walking down the dock. I got a 3-piece suit on. I just got done taking care of business for the day, and I got 2 deep cycle batteries on my boat. You have a slip. You got yourself a boat. It was funny. You had a slip before you actually had a boat, which I thought was great.
That was good.
The great thing. But you had no idea how to run the 280, the Sea Ray 280. You had no idea.
I didn't even know how to start it.
And I'll tell you what. I love it with all the new boaters that came into the market at from the beginning, middle to the end of the 2020 season.
It's a journey, and it really is a wonderful journey to get folks, and we will help folks get there to when they've owned their first boat and they've been out on the water. We want to help them do it safely and connect them with suppliers that can help them maintain and keep their boat looking great, and all important, safe.
And that's what I'm so great. I'm so excited for the fact that a boater will be able to take their cell phone and really get all the features and accessibility that All Docked Up has to offer. So, with that being said, guys, I hope you have a great Sunday afternoon and evening. And even though it's the winter time, boating's right around the corner, and we're going to be there to help you along the way. Buzz, Captain, I want to thank you once again for being with us today.
Thank you, Pauly. And All Docked Up. It's where we connect boaters, experience, whether veteran or new boaters, to qualified service providers. Keep your boat looking great, safe, and maintained properly.
Have a great day, everybody.